Hey guys, it's Arch. I thought I would make a tutorial on CSGO configs and the console commands, and basically in short to make a file that you can execute inside of CSGO to run a whole bunch of console commands all at once. So for example, if you want to run your crosshair obviously has, I think it's about 7 or 8 different things you can change with different console commands, so you can run all of that at the same time. Or if you're wanting to set up like a 1v1 that you host and you invite a friend and you want to customize the setup, so the amount of rounds and the amount of money and the time and all that stuff. So I'm going to show you how to do all of that sort of as a preset and do it all at once. So first things first, you're going to come to your search bar and you're going to go to your File Explorer options. Then you're going to go to the View tab, and in the View tab you'll see this Hide Extensions for Known File Types. Should be ticked most probably. You're going to want to untick it like what I've got here and apply, because later you'll need to change an extension for CSGO to read a text file. Then going to open Notepad, and then inside of Notepad you're going to put down all your console commands. So first let me back it up. When this video is obviously geared at people who sort of have worked with the console in CSGO, I guess, so you're going to have to enable it if you haven't. And then also in terms of console commands, in the description below I'll put a link of a website where there's basically all the useful console commands. Like I myself know sort of basically all the mp underscore, cl underscore, sv underscore, all those commands and stuff, but for those that don't know, I will link it below. So when you want to change something, for example you want to change the amount, you go into an offline, or you host a 1v1, you want to make the amount of rounds 30, for example, you're going to say mp underscore max rounds. You're going to set that variable to 30 and you're going to enter, and it'll change the amount of rounds to 30. Then generally speaking you'll need to restart. That'll restart the game in 1 second, and it'll apply the change you've made if the game has already started. Now typically you would type in mp underscore max rounds 30 and you'd enter it, and then you type in the second command and you would enter it. So once you start sort of doing customizations, that you'll find that you're gonna have like 8, 9, maybe 10, 15, whatever commands, and if you're doing it often it's gonna become quite tedious. So you want to type all of them in at the same time. So what you would then do in your console is you'd separate them with a colon and put a space and type the next one, and you would enter that as a string and it would all execute. Now the problem with that is there's a limit to the characters that you can put into your console, and you're going to run out of space, and you can only put in a certain amount of commands depending on the characters. So what this will do then is, if you put it all in a file, all the commands that you put in the file will then execute accordingly. So for example, you can change the amount of rounds, you can change or you can enable the cheats, and with cheats you can obviously change the infinite ammo and all that kind of stuff, and then your restart game, and don't forget to put a colon after your SV cheats in this case. So this is my example, just so I can show you basically how to save it. So you're going to go save as, and then okay, I'm already in the directory, but you're going to go to your Steam apps, common Counter-Strike, into your CSGO file, into your CFG file, and basically what gets stored in your CFG file is text files that have your video settings and your game settings, and all that stuff gets stored in your config file. So you're going to save so basically you would have put all your commands in here, whether it's for crosshair or for setup, and you're going to save it. So we'll save it as 1, just name it 1. Actually let me name it, I'll name it CFG test, and you're going to save that, and it's going to save it as a text file. So we're going to come here. Now I'm in Steam, going to go Steam apps, common Counter-Strike, CSGO, config, same path, and you'll see here's my CFG text, CFG test, and you'll see here's my CFG test text file. Now if you have a look at this is one I have already existing that I use when I play 1v1s with friends, and you can see the picture's different, and it's also a config file, whereas this is a text file. So to make this a config file which CSGO will then read and execute, you'll go to the properties and you'll change the extension to .cfg, and it'll tell you, if you change it, it'll become unusable. Yes, and it changes it to a config file. Now that's just to show you how to make the file readable by CSGO. So the example I'm going to be using in-game in a second is going to be this one that I already have existing. So I'll show you what I've got in here. I've got a command to kick the bots, enable cheats, although I don't really use any of the SV commands, so it's kind of a bit pointless, but I do it anyway. Then changes the time limit of the map, the amount of rounds. They're all fairly sort of self-explanatory. And what this setup does, if you look at it carefully, it basically sets up a 1v1 server as if it was a competitive. So the amount of money you get is the same, the money you start with. The max money is limited, so people can't get 11k, but that's just a tweak that I made. So basically you can play a 1v1 as if it were a comp, so you would need to save if you die too many times and stuff like that. So this is the example I'm going to use in game, and I'll show you that now. Okay, so this is just one of the workshop maps I've downloaded. It's kind of a 1v1 map, I guess. It's a bit bigger than your average 1v1. It's set out as like a speedball field for paintball. So I'll show you sort of the execution of the config file that you've now made. So I'm going to choose T side. As you can see, sort of the bots are here. Because when I opened the map, I selected competitive for the game mode, and I selected expert bots. So all the bots are here. The game will start as per normal. There's no warm up, and bots are running around having a good time. So now you would have started a game like this, and your friend would have joined on the other team. So you want to play 1v1 with the config that you've made, which I'll use my config. So you'll open your console command or your console prompt, and in here you'll type exec space. That'll bring up sort of all the things that you can execute. These ones are ones that are already in CSGO, so you don't have to worry. You just have to find the one that you named. So this is the example that I showed you, and then this is mine. So I'm going to run mine, and when I press enter, you'll see everything execute like it should, and it'll restart the game with that setup. So I'll enter it there. You'll see all the bots have been kicked. You'll see the armor is gone, although I don't think there was armor to begin with. You should see that I'm no longer able to buy grenades because I turned grenades off as one of my commands. And yeah, start money is 800, and basically you'd have to play through the game with your friend to see the effects of all the commands, like the money cap and all that. But that's basically all you need to do. So say now you have a crosshair command, you'll need to put all your crosshair sort of settings into one file, separate them by colons, and then you can run your crosshair, and that's quite useful if you have a few different crosshairs that you store, and then you can easily in-game, you just go exec, and then if you have a crosshair, it'll pitch up there and you can select it and immediately it'll change. So yeah, that's just a way to stop the tedious work of having to constantly retype in the same console commands for the same 1v1s or the same crosshair. And I hope you guys found it helpful. And if you want any more videos about this kind of stuff, just leave a question in the comment section below, and also don't forget to like the video and to subscribe to the channel.